Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Monday, the 5th of January. This is CTV News. Tonight, the deep freeze, bone-chilling temperatures grip the Maritimes. The daycare dilemma, parents' ongoing struggle to find a suitable space for their kids. And on the Boardwalk, a local photographer documents daily life on a Halifax pier.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Relief is on the way, but the new year has brought bitterly cold temperatures. The wind made things worse today, especially for those who had to be outside. CTV's Josh Smith has more.
Since late last week, temperatures have been below -15 and at times well below -20. But at the Greater Moncton International Airport, operations haven't slowed down.
You know, we're in the Maritimes. We get a lot of snow in the winter, and our team is really prepared to make sure that they're clearing the airfield so that planes can land and depart in a safe manner.
Airport officials say winter plans are always in place with crews and equipment ready around the clock to deal with extreme cold.
I had like 2 jackets on me, 3 hoodies, and just wear as much clothes as I can so I won't freeze.
At the same time, the deep freeze is pushing electric heating systems to work harder and driving up energy demand.
The colder it is outside, the longer an electric heating source is going to have to operate to maintain the same temperature.
MB Power says cold snaps like this are when small efficiency measures can make a difference in one's power bill.
You can close curtains at nighttime. You can turn heat down when you go to bed. Like if you have, particularly if you have baseboard, right? You want to turn them. You can turn the temperature down in rooms that you don't use and then shut the door.
In downtown Moncton, the cold was enough to keep most people moving, bundled up and limiting their time outside. But in Halifax, at least one person shrugged off the cold.
I enjoy the weather. This is winter. It's how it's supposed to be.
Operators at this ski hill in Cape Breton say cold temperatures allowed them to make snow, helping them open today.
The snow guns are going. We need the temperatures to make the snow, but the conditions are beautiful.
But there is some relief from the cold on the horizon with warmer temperatures expected later in the week. Josh Smith, CTV News, Moncton.
Turned out to be a busy week for Halifax water crews who've responded to nearly a dozen water main breaks. The utility says the spike is seasonal and really not unusual at all. Officials say the winter freeze-thaw cycle puts extra stress on the aging infrastructure, especially the old cast iron pipes, some of them installed decades ago. Some pipes still in service today are between 50 and 100 years old, especially in the urban areas. 6 of the last 10 water breaks occurred in Halifax, 2 others in Dartmouth.
Once the frost starts getting into the ground, you're typically the number of water main breaks and repairs that are required does increase. From year over year, our average is about 222 breaks a year.
Utility says it is on target to hit that ballpark number again this year, suggesting part of this year's 17.6% rate hike will go toward maintaining and replacing the aging pipes. The average emergency water main repair apparently costs about $6,000.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Nova Scotia youth who admitted to assaulting a couple of security guards at the hospital in Truro last spring was handed a year's probation today. The boy, who was 16 at the time, threw a bottle of bleach at the guards, striking one of them in the face. Back in November, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of assault with a weapon. He was handed 12 months probation with conditions in court today. A dog attack near Shelburne has sent a young person to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Happened at dusk on Saturday. Police say 3 large breed dogs attacked a youth who was riding a bicycle past the property on Upper Sandy Cove Road. That's in Welshtown. The victim was airlifted to hospital with critical injuries. The dogs were euthanized. No further details are being released at this time. A Dartmouth woman is facing animal cruelty charges after an investigation by the provincial SPCA. The agency says it investigated several complaints of animal abuse during appointments at a grooming facility in Dartmouth. 30-year-old Lorraine Murphy has been charged with 4 counts of causing distress under the Animal Protection Act. She is scheduled to face a judge in March. 5 people accused of conspiracy to commit murder were scheduled back in a Moncton courtroom today, one day before a separate high-profile trial is set to begin. CTV's Derek Haggett has the details.
The 5 people accused of conspiracy to commit murder all made brief court appearances today in Moncton. Jansen Brian Baker, Nicholas Daniel Bain, Jesse Todd Logue, Christopher Allen Lennon, and Monique Alicia Boye were charged in November with conspiracy to commit the murder of Silvio Sagne. Each of the accused were to elect how they wanted to be tried, but the judge put the matter over until next month so each lawyer could go over the large volume of evidence. Baker was charged in 2023 with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the deaths of 78-year-old Bernard Sagne and 74-year-old Rosemarie Sagne, Silvio Sagne's parents. The Dieppe couple's bodies were found in their home in September of 2019, and the RCMP ruled their deaths as homicides. Baker's double homicide trial is scheduled to begin tomorrow. All 5 accused remain in custody. Silvio Sagne died in 2023, but the RCMP previously told CTV News foul play was not suspected in his death. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
A couple of Walmart security guards wound up being roughed up trying to stop some shoplifters in Halifax yesterday. Police say they were called to the Mumford Road store just after 5 p.m. when 2 employees were assaulted by a man leaving the business with unpaid merchandise. Guards at the nearby Halifax shopping center intervened. They restrained the man, but a second suspect attacked them, trying to free the first. In the end, both men were arrested. The 36 and 44-year-olds will appear in court at a later date. 22 people out of their homes following a fire at a seniors complex in the town of St. George, New Brunswick yesterday. But as CTV's Avery McCrae tells us tonight, it's not just the homes that were destroyed.
From the street, all looks normal, but around the back and inside of this seniors apartment complex, the damage is evident.
The call came from inside that unit.
Just before 8 Sunday morning, fire crews arrived to heavy smoke coming from this building. Eastern Charlotte Fire Chief Justin Johnston says it took 3 hours to get the blaze under control.
One of the residences did get transported to hospital for smoke inhalation. They were later then released. One of our firefighters was transported as well for fatigue, and so they were later released as well.
In total, 22 people were displaced by the fire, all of whom have found temporary accommodations through either family or the Red Cross.
The part where the fire was, as of yesterday, which is the newer part of the building, is going to have to be completely redone. But the Atlantic Baptist Housing, who own the building, plan on making sure that gets done as quick as possible.
Not only was this building home for nearly 24 residents, it also housed the St. Georgian Area Food Bank, which routinely helps upwards of 125 families and 350 people in the community. In the 24 hours following the fire, the Masonic Lodge opened their basement to help the food bank continue serving the community. But their stock will need to be replenished after as much as $75,000 worth of food was destroyed.
Monday is one of our distribution days, so we had appointments lined up for clients and deliveries lined up, and we end up with no food.
But the community has stepped up for both the food bank and displaced residents. In just 24 hours, the shelves are filling back up, and a number of people and organizations have made various donations and set up fundraisers in a time where things tend to slow down.
Big percentage of our food comes in from October to Christmas. Living in a small community sometimes has its downfall, but times like this, it's really, really nice.
The cause of the fire, or when people may be able to return to this site, is unknown. Avery McCrae, CTV News, St. George, New Brunswick.
People who live in a neighborhood in Bedford are keeping a close eye for a deer that literally can't quite seem to shake the Christmas spirit. A number of people have spotted the young buck with Christmas lights wrapped around his antlers. Several have expressed concerns about the animal, but experts say nature tends to take care of this kind of problem in due time.
If the garbage isn't impeding their ability to eat, especially when it's around their antlers. Those antlers will drop probably in February or early March, and hopefully all of that stuff will fall off with them.
Swinimer says that option is preferable to cornering and tranquilizing the animal, which can sometimes be dangerous or even deadly. Still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll check on the maritime restaurant industry, which frankly has seen better days. Coming up next, though, new year, old problem.
I have 8 infant spaces. My wait list for infants is 385.
The daycare dilemma continues for parents around here. That's next. Stay with us. A lack of childcare spaces continue to cause a lot of stress for parents around here. For some, the situation is getting increasingly desperate. Here's CTV's Jonathan McGinnis.
Bonnie Minard is the executive director of the Portland Daycare Center in Dartmouth. Her 91 spaces are spoken for.
Accessibility is unfortunately not great.
She has a wait list, but parents could be on it for years, especially those waiting for spots for infants.
I have 8 infant spaces. My wait list for infants is 385. So when you look at how many people are actually going to get a spot, you know, it's disheartening for families that, you know, have put their name on the list for years that may never get in.
I would apply as soon as you find out you're pregnant.
That still wouldn't have been soon enough for Josie Tulane, whose first child is now 8 months old, and her maternity leave is almost up.
Can't live on one income for like another year, so it's very stressful, and I'm like trying to figure out what to do. Where can I leave my child, right?
Minard has been trying to open more spots at her daycare for years. As for what it would take to make that happen,
permission from the government, funding. We would definitely be interested. We have expressed interest previously.
A recent study from the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives says the provincial government has met funding targets in a bilateral agreement with the feds, but there are challenges when it comes to issues like affordable fees and enough regulated childcare spaces. One of the authors of the report says extra funding for childcare should be in the next provincial budget, and that every dollar spent on childcare has a return on investment of up to $6. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Thank you, John. Time for a quick break. When we return, it is your complete maritime weather forecast. Still a very cool night out there, but there is some relief on the way. Kaylin has all the details coming up next. Monday night, 5th day of January. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce, and a Happy New Year to you as well. I guess I didn't see much of you last week.
Not for the last couple, is it?
Have you been bundling up?
Well, especially the last couple of days, for sure.
Yeah.
Been cold, man.
We're in a little bit of a cold snap. It's been a cold start to 2026. The good news is those temperatures will be moderating as we make our way throughout this week. Tonight, though, around the region, still very cold. Not a lot of active weather ongoing. Seeing some increase in cloudiness and some light snow and some flurries expected to make their way into southwestern areas of New Brunswick and the west of Nova Scotia as we move through tonight and into the start of the day for tomorrow. You're going to see that show up here on our timeline in through these blues, filling into areas like Grand Manan and brushing up towards St. John, and then for Nova Scotia, around the Tri-County region, extending up towards the South Shore, and even Halifax, morning through afternoon for tomorrow. There's a chance of some flurries. Now, not much in the way of accumulation in that's expected out of that snow, with the possibility of some very localized amounts right around the southwestern coastline of Nova Scotia, Digby, Yarmouth, and Shelburne counties. It could approach the range of around 1 to 5 centimeters. They'll be down to a lower chance of flurries as we head into Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. Pretty cloudy sky. And then we do have a weather system arriving on Wednesday. And this one looks like it's going to be a mixture of snow and rain for the region, with the snow rain line pushing all the way up into central areas of New Brunswick. That means for Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and southern New Brunswick, it looks like maybe after a little bit of snow, it'll mostly be about 5 to 15 millimeters of rain. But there's potential that northern areas of New Brunswick could pick up some snowfall amounts of between 5 and 15 centimeters, including communities such as Miramichi, Bathurst, and even Edmundston in the northwest. Winds in the forecast for tomorrow will become southerly, and this is going to start that change as far as the temperatures go. Very cold tonight. Cold start to the day for tomorrow, with most morning temperatures well down to the minus teens, even some minus 20s in the north of New Brunswick. But by the afternoon, those temperatures will recover a little bit. Still cold in the north of New Brunswick, minus 9 to minus 12 there. But parts of southern and central areas of New Brunswick will have some afternoon temperatures that climb into a range around minus 1 to minus 5. And Prince Edward Island for tomorrow in the afternoon, most temperatures in the east of the province will be between minus 1 and minus 4, and up west a little bit colder, between minus 4 and minus 6. Cape Breton for tomorrow, daytime high temperatures between 0 and minus 4, maybe plus 1 at Port Hawkesbury. Near minus 2 on the north shore of Nova Scotia, and near 0 for the eastern shore. Cumberland, Colchester, Hants counties, Halifax County, late in the afternoon tomorrow, temperatures in the range around minus 2 to plus 2. The Annapolis Valley, with late afternoon temperatures climbing up to around plus 1. And on the south shore of Nova Scotia, most of the afternoon temperatures climbing up to a range of around 1 to 3 degrees. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast for New Brunswick coming up on Wednesday, that mixture of snow and rain. Remember, northern areas of New Brunswick could pick up some snowfall amounts of between 5 and 15 centimeters. Cloudy periods in the forecast for Thursday. High temperatures around or just above the freezing mark. Mixture of showers and flurries expected on Friday. And again, temperatures fairly mild for this far into the month of January. A mix of sun and cloud on Saturday. Looks like some light snow for the end of the weekend on Sunday, followed by a little bit of a return of some colder air for the start of next week. Monday's high temperatures look like they could be a few to several degrees below the freezing mark. For Nova Scotia in the outlook, coming up on Wednesday, some rain and fog. And then cloudy periods follow for Thursday. Temperatures remaining pretty mild again for this time of the year. For the end of the week and through the upcoming weekend, there will be a chance of flurries on Sunday. The start of next week will be a little bit colder. Daytime high temperatures returning to a couple degrees below 0. And for Prince Edward Island in the outlook, it's a mixture of snow and rain on Wednesday. There'll be a chance of flurries after that on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, both a mix of sun and cloud. High temperatures just above the freezing mark. Flurries in the forecast for Sunday and a chance of flurries on Monday. Bruce.
Quite a change to be sure. Thank you, Kaylin. Wake up weather still to come. We're going to step aside for a couple of minutes, but stay with us. We'll be right back.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. At home, at work, and on the go, stay connected with a team you can trust anytime, anywhere. CTV Atlantic and ctvatlantic.ca. Watch live on Crave.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Food costs are up, customers are down. That combination has a lot of local eateries bracing for tough months ahead and worrying about staying afloat through the winter. CTV's Vanessa Wright met with one entrepreneur who knows that struggle all too well.
When Daniela Alonso opened up Taquitos Mexican restaurant 2 years ago, the plan was to make her family's authentic recipes a long-lasting staple in the community.
I started it because I wanted to share my culture.
The restaurant was an initial success, but recently the cost of food and operations has brought the business to the brink of closure.
Sales went down, and we tried making deals, making specials. We tried all kinds of things. It wasn't working.
Foot traffic slows in January, adding to the already stressed industry. The Restaurant Association of Nova Scotia says the cost of utilities, labor, and operations made 2025 a challenging year for restaurants.
On top of that, we had impacts from, things like tariffs and really big changes to immigration, which has impacted how we recruit and retain labor.
And with consumers eating out less, it's no surprise many face the tough choice to close their doors.
We know as of 2025, 41% of restaurants are still operating at a loss or a break even. To give some perspective, it was 12% back in 2019, pre-pandemic. And profit margins are still really tiny, around 4% or just a little under. So the restaurants are still being really, really squeezed.
Back at Taquitos, Alonzo holds out hope her doors will stay open, sharing a post to social media asking people to stop by and support. But even she admits it's a long road ahead.
It would be nice to maybe lower my rent, lower my bills, but no, we depend on the community. I mean, we're doing everything we can. Like I said, maybe introducing new things to our menu, maybe doing new deals, maybe expanding in some other ways. I mean, we're exploring everything, but the community is what really helps us.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for one final break. Coming up, Boardwalk moments with a maritime photographer. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. You know the old saying about making hay when the sun shines? Well, guess what you do when the weather's like this? A live look at Brookvale, PEI. Wake-up weather coming up next. Tuesday morning upon us. Let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather and Kaylin Mitchell.
So it's a very cold night, and it's going to be a cold start to the day for tomorrow. There's expected to be some light snow and some flurries in southwestern areas of New Brunswick, especially Grand Manan, up towards St. John, St. Stephen, even a chance of a flurry in Fredericton, and areas in Nova Scotia, basically Halifax County and west in that province. Those same areas will continue to have a chance of some flurries to make our way through the afternoon. The rest of the region, a mix of sun and cloud. There'll be a southerly wind, so most of the afternoon high temperatures in the range around -6 to 0. Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Kaylin. Well, when photographer Shane Paris lost his beloved pet, he found comfort in a walk along the Halifax Pier. Now, as CTV's Mike Lamb shows us, he posts daily photos of the boardwalk.
My name's Shane Paris. I call myself the man on the pier, I guess. I started doing the On Halifax Pier project 5 years ago. I came out, it was COVID time, so we all remember that. We weren't allowed to go anywhere or do anything, so started doing my walks, more so for my health. Fortunately, I lost my dog during COVID, and anybody who's lost a pet, you know what it's like the next day. You're lost, right? So I decided to go for a walk. Came out to the top of the hill. Somebody at Nova Scotia Power asked me, "Where's your little friend?" So one question you don't want. So I said, unfortunately I lost her, and turned around, the tear in your eye, and all of a sudden, directly over here at Sand & Salters, there was a rainbow that shot directly from the sands all the way over towards Waterfront Place where I was living at the time when we got her. So kind of told me I had to keep walking, keep shooting. So it turned into 5 years of photos, basically, and 5 years of shooting. I try not to miss a day. I do follow the sunrise though, so yes, in the summertime I am out here at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. The On Halifax Pier domain name was available, so I grabbed it when I could and started going from there. It makes sense. That's where I shoot, is every day is out here.
There's a man on a pier where the morning meets the sea.
When you look around, we've got this, and sunrises down here, honestly, some of the best in the world, but getting out here, getting up for sunrise, it starts the day. Now I can't even imagine. If I got up and don't come out for a walk, just like everybody from a mental health perspective, physically and mentally, that's why I shoot pretty much every day. We all have New Year's resolutions to get ourselves in shape, basically, so going for a walk is the easiest thing you could do. The Halifax waterfront is a great place to walk, and yes, there are still things open down here. Do make sure you dress appropriately, though, if you're coming down. There's nothing better than coming for a walk on the waterfront. Everybody should try it, and everybody should do it. A lot of us miss the moments, and really, that's what I find I'm doing down here, is capturing the moments.
Important reminders for all of us. That's your late news tonight. If you tuned in a little late this evening and like a second look maybe at any of our stories, you can always visit us online, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It is your home for news, after all. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us. Have a good night. We hope to see you again tomorrow.